Hello everyone and welcome back to another Wavelength Wednesdays. My name is Waveney and I am a leadership coach. I help new managers develop leadership influence by mastering their relationships at work and leveraging their communication skills. It's been a while, and so I'm back. This week I'm speaking to you about empathy. Now, a key part of empathy is listening. You have to listen if you are truly to behave and be and embody empathetic leadership. But there are many barriers to listening, and so today I'm going to speak to you about those. Are you ready to get on the same wavelength? Fabulous. And so let me first start by saying, in Oprah's, I'm an Oprah fan, by the way. In Oprah's final show, one of the things she touched on is she shared how she has done so many interviews over the years. And what she's found is a common denominator, from Beyonce to the somebody who was in prison to the Ku Klux Klan. They all wanted to be validated. They all wanted to know, was that okay after the interview? And so people really need to be validated. And so listening is key. And so I just wanted to share that with you. So the first reason why we don't listen sometimes is that we're afraid that we're going to forget what we want to say. So somebody might be in a conversation with us, our team member, our boss, and we keep interrupting that person, and we're like, I don't want to forget. Well, one of the reasons why this is happening is because we are listening just to respond. So we are listening, but we want to respond when we really should be listening to understand. And it doesn't matter what the situation is, we really need to listen to understand. Stephen Covey says, seek first to understand rather than to be understood. And so what you can do in those moments, and this is just something really simple and basic, is just grab a notebook, have a notebook, jot down certain things, let the person know, hey, I'm going to be taking some notes, I'm going to be jotting down some stuff. So if you see me writing, it's because I don't want to forget, right? And so that is one way that you can help with that. All right, but come from a place of really sitting to listen, to understand what that person has to say. All right, so reason number 2 why we don't listen is we've heard this before. Now, if you're anything like me and you've been in leadership for a very long time, you've heard it all, you've seen it all, you've had so many experiences, and this is where the trap of listening or not listening lies. Because we've heard, somebody might start speaking to us and it sounds similar. The story sounds similar. The situation sounds similar. And we shut down the conversation. We cut off people. We interrupt because we've heard it all before. This is a huge mistake. I've made this mistake myself. And so I've learned not to, because no two people are alike. No two situations are alike. And so we really want to listen so that we can really truly understand, one, what the person is saying. Two, what you may find is you gain more information. There may be other things going on, and the person says something, you ask a question for clarity, and it unravels and reveals or highlights some other issue or some other area of opportunity. So you never want to come from a place of, I've heard it all before, I've had this experience. You want to go in like with just really wanting to listen, okay? And step number 3 is very similar, but when the person starts speaking, it sounds like a blame or excuse, right? And I hate when people blame or they try to come up with excuses, and it's, you know, it's so easy to stop that conversation, but you want to listen. Again, you want to listen because there is information, there may be valuable information there that you can utilize, that maybe there's an issue there. So you, even though it starts off sounding like a blame or an excuse, you want to listen, you want to ask questions for clarity. Remember, you're not trying to justify, you're not trying to cut people off, you're there to listen. All right. And then the last thing is reason why people don't listen is we are wrapped up in our own narrative of the story, of the situation. We have this conversation going on in our head. You know, sometimes we play out a scenario. Maybe we are going into a situation that is an uncomfortable situation, like we have to manage a conflict with a peer or a team member, or maybe it's us who we're in the hot seat, or we have to present and we have already played out how the scenario should go or what the other person might say, and we're so wrapped up in our heads that if the person doesn't say what we've already reenacted or replayed in our mind, or if something goes wrong that we didn't plan for, we shut it down, we get defensive, we get angry. And so we've got to be really careful that we don't allow our own biases, our own, you know, narrative that's going on in our head to take over and block us from truly listening to what people have to say. And so, like I mentioned before, just to wrap up, no two situation and no two persons are alike. And so we really need to listen. And we need to listen also from a sign of respect, right? We want to be the type of leader that people can come to. We want to be approachable. Every time, just know that every time that we engage with someone, we have a conversation with someone, our leadership skills, our leadership acumen, our leadership abilities, and they're on display. And we want to be the type of leader that leaves a legacy. We want to be an influential leader. And an influential leader practices listening. All right, they practice listening. And so listening is not going to hurt you. Listening doesn't hurt. Again, we may be able to gather information that helps us, data that helps us, areas of opportunities that helps us, and so we want to listen even more, okay? And we want to have that person leave the conversation, even if they don't agree with the outcome. We want to leave them feeling respected or feeling heard, all right? And this is how we develop influential leadership and practice listening, and even it helps with empathetic listening and with us displaying empathy. And so I know this was a little bit lengthy, but I am hoping that you found something valuable from this. Share this out with a friend, save this for when you need it, and I will speak to you on another Wavelength Wednesdays. Bye.